have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Good morning. How are you doing today on this lovely Monday? We are just like, 24 plus 10 away from the election. 24 hours plus 10. So, I don't know. It depends on where everything is when they call it. Last election, it wasn't until 3 a.m., 12:30-ish, I believe it was, West Coast time, when Tony Child Molester Podesta came out and said, we don't have any results. We'll have to wait till morning. 4 years went by super quick, didn't it? Like 4 years of President Trump doing President Trump things. Whether you like him or not, you can't deny the things he has done. I mean, some of you will deny until your dying last breath, and you'll say he never did anything. But he is closer to making peace in the Middle East an actual fucking reality, which I never thought any politician could ever do. But it just goes to show you that none of our politicians have really tried to bring peace to the Middle East. Now, can President Trump bring that about? It's starting to look like it's a real thing. More Middle Eastern nations are joining this and acknowledging that Israel does have a right to live and breathe there and be a prosperous nation as any other nation. There's a lot of nations already signed on to it, which makes me go, wow, this is really, really happening. So the next few years we'll really see if all that work they've done behind the scenes that has gotten very little recognition in American news at all will be a real thing. And for the prophecies, like for the prophecies from the Bible, this shit has to happen. There's a few things that have to happen for this really, like clearly, without a doubt in anyone's fucking mind, if you read the Bible. And if you don't, just read Revelations, because you're going to go, fuck, this shit is really going down, ain't it? And I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, it's really going down. I wasn't a believer. I'm a believer. I wasn't for the first part of my life until it was proven. Sometimes your faith needs proof. But that's the problem with faith. Faith is you can't get proof until God wants to slap you in the head and go, here's your proof, you stupid motherfucker. We shall see. It has to come true, though. Like things like Damascus has to be destroyed. That's one of the things on the to-do list. There has to be peace with Israel. That's on the to-do list. And like after a few of those things happen, then Jesus is supposed to show up. I believe it. I really do. And I don't have to like try and explain it why I do. I just do. I'm like, yeah, that he's coming back. He's going to murder us all. And like I keep saying, it's not, the Bible's not written for our entertainment. It's not written so we could all feel at ease with some mystical bullshit. It's written because this is the way it's going to fucking play out. And if you think we're just, humans that crawled out of the ocean and we evolved and all this shit, you're fucking nut. You're a dipshit. Because if you can't look around and see that we are living in biblical times, the most advanced biblical times that this civilization has ever seen, there's a lot of people that think God has destroyed previous civilizations on the planet before because they fucking pissed him off. Now, we're in the same position. We're pissing God off. And if this is the last round we all get to play in, how do you want to play? Do you want to be a fucking asshole? Is that how you want to play your last hand? Or do you want to try and do something positive that you may be able to go to heaven? If not, you're going to go to hell, and hell fucking sucks. So does purgatory. You don't want to fuck around with no purgatory either. You just want to go through the gates and be a good person. But some of you aren't going to get in because you're not good people. You're fucking assholes, and you deserve to burn in hell. www.listennotes.com, podplayer.net, podchaser.com, deezer.com, gabrielkihos.podbeam.com, buzzsprout.com, iTunes. I need to say that so it doesn't say podcast.apple.com. Player FM, Spotify, Anchor, Blueberry, Amazon Music, Breaker Audio, TuneIn, JioSavan, iHeartRadio, which is really a problem, and our flagship network, Spreaker.com, which avoided the fucking glacier and the Titanic pulled into port and everything's okay. Discord. I'm not on that Discord with Reverend Byrne. I can't fucking deal with that shit. Nothing against Reverend Byrne, but I'm like, dude, I can't be hanging out with fucking places that aren't policed properly. And I can't fuck around with Discord when, in Byrne's Discord, when people are writing about kid stuff and this, and they're fucking underage. I had to back away from that. Look, I can't let my brand get tainted by another brand that doesn't care what their brand's all about. I mean, if this doesn't work with me, and I address this shit with them, and he's like, they'll do what they want to do. Fine. If motherfuckers don't care, then motherfuckers don't get me. If you don't give a fuck about like how you're portrayed to others out there, like this is my brand. iHeart's not my brand. Drunk in the AM is my brand, and I give a fuck about my brand. I don't want my brand ever being in the same category as people talking about child stuff because they're kids. I don't want to be on a Discord that is full of young teenage boys. It's fucking very weird and it's very sus. And I ain't fucking with it. That's why I bounced out of that. And no, I ain't going back there until it grows up. If that Discord channel wants to grow up and stop posting shit, and so like it's a waste of my time, number one. Because I was like the old man in there that's like not putting up with that type of behavior. And since I stopped doing it, it's really out of control. So I was just like, fuck this. This ain't my home. This ain't my brand. And I ain't going to have nothing to do with it. That's one of the reasons. There's other reasons too, but that ain't for me to say because I don't like to spill the beans. A lot of you like to spill the tea, right? Well, if you tell me something, I'm a vault. It's not going anywhere, but I might make you pay for it just a little bit because you pissed me off. In Paris, there is a fucking mass exodus that was happening in Paris, and it was unfriggin' believable how many people are trying to get the fuck out of Paris before the new lockdowns went into effect. A lot of those people didn't make it out of Paris because they created one of the largest traffic jams ever in France. Hundreds of miles long of people trying to escape. Because France is now under a severe lockdown because Rona is kicking France in the titties. Tens of thousands of Parisians last night caused a massive traffic jam all across the nation in a desperate attempt to flee the French capital ahead of the start of Emmanuel Macron's new national shutdown. Videos posted all over the internet show huge amounts of Parisians attempting a mass exodus out of the city in a bid to avoid the 9 p.m. curfew and the start of the second lockdown from midnight on. The night air was filled with the sound of blaring car horns while social media users estimated that Parisians had created hundreds of miles of gridlock to escape to their second homes. Now, how lucky, I mean, look at all of these people that fled, right? And they're so rich, all those people have second homes and like cabins. That's a lot of wealth trying to flee their capitalist society ran by a little fucking French dude that's about as charismatic as Napoleon was. So these people are not putting up with a new lockdown. But the sad thing is that, you know, do you want to get coronavirus? Do you want to die a shitty death? Do you want to end up in a hospital on a ventilator where your family can't even be around you? Because that's what some of you are going to get when you keep saying this shit ain't real. It's just phony. It's just fake. I mean, that's the most asinine shit I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. It's real. We see it every day. We're starting to get the little taste of the second wave in America. It's just a taste because it won't be here. I said it won't be here till fully here from December till maybe February. It takes a long time to get all the way across from the other side of the world to over here, especially now that, air travel is reduced. A lot of nations don't want Americans coming to their nation. We're still locked out of many nations. So a lot of people aren't traveling internationally, and that may slow this down a tad bit. But it's going to happen no matter what. Look, God doesn't like us anymore. Of course he's going to give us a shitty disease to start killing some of us off. Revelers also seized the opportunity to spend one last night with friends and family last night before bars and restaurants are closed as the French government plunges the country back into lockdown. Now, there's a lot of Americans like, oh, this is so unreal. It's not true. It's fake. It's this. It's that. But yet, do you think an entire fucking nation like France would do a lockdown if it was not absolutely 100% fucking necessary for the survival of the French people? They're like, oh, fuck it, let's drink some wine and have some more baguettes at the rest. We don't give a fuck. Yeah, okay. I've seen Americans who didn't give a fuck. They're like, I don't give a fuck about this fake bullshit. And then they get it. And then they die. What are you going to do? You die and you're standing at the gates of heaven. God's looking at you going, you're a dumb motherfucker, aren't you? How many people did I send you to tell you that this shit is real, stay at home, stay alive, and don't get fucked up? I don't know, like 3 or 4? But you didn't listen to them, didn't? No, I didn't think this shit is fake. You're a moron. Get out of here. You don't get to get into heaven, bitch. Do you really want that to happen? Do you want God to be like, you're a dumb motherfucker who doesn't get to go into heaven? That's what's going to happen if you show up in heaven going, I died of coronavirus because I didn't follow the fucking rules. There's some rules in place right now that we got to follow so we survive. Well, it's nothing. There's only a couple thousand people that died. A couple 100,000. That's not that much. And then it turns into 1 million. And then 1 million turns into 3. Then 6. Then 20. Yeah, that's how these things start to spiral out of control because nobody wants to believe that it's absolutely real, right? All right. Meanwhile, French people emptied supermarkets in a repeat of the panic buying that swept Europe in March as Parisians and other city dwellers prepared for a month in confinement. Shoppers stocked up on pasta and toilet roll while people queued outside hairdressers for a final trim. Office workers in the capital's business district hauled their equipment to cars and trains in preparation for work from home. Emmanuel Macron's draconian measures are due to be enforced until at least December 1st, with people required to carry documents justifying their reason for leaving home that will be subject to police checks. Pay attention, motherfuckers. You think this ain't going to happen here? You think this isn't going to happen in America? Where we have to go on a fucking lockdown, where you have to go get food for a couple months. You will not be allowed to leave your home unless you're an essential worker. And police will confront you if they see you out and about. You think that can't happen in America? Wait till this government deems this shit so fucking dangerous and then see what happens. You want to see soldiers out on the streets? That's going to happen. It might as well be the fucking new plague. Revelers also seized the opportunity to spend one last night with friends and everybody and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, French people emptied the supermarkets. I scrolled back up. Draconian. In a televised announcement, he said, our target is simple. Sharply reducing infections. They're at 40,000 infections a day. 40,000 a day. Imagine that. They want to bring that number down to 5